the police that ruled this failed murder, premeditated failed murder, an accident, knew I had a 12 gauge shotgun, and I also knew there was a burglar trapped in the bathroom, that day, because I'd been reporting burglaries. But I want to show you something here on my foot. There's pellets under my skin. Can you see that right there? That bump? I can feel it right there. It's a real pronounced pellet. There's another one up here that you can barely see it, but it's a little deeper. But, one time I was going to create a movie and I was going to cut that out. And when I went to cut it, it hurt and I didn't do it, And so it's still there. But the reason I was going to cut that out was because of the size of the pellets, okay? The size of the pellets prove that I wasn't shot with my gun. And basically what that means is I was shot with another gun, okay? Because I think we can all agree to that if I ain't shot with my gun, then, somebody come to my home shot me, just like I said. And this is a premeditated capital attempted murder, and police are covering it up. See, from the lab report from the hospital, it shows 3.3 centimeters, and I converted that to millimeter on the chart, and that's a size 5 pellet, okay, on the chart. But in my gun was a 7.5, which is standard size 12 gauge shotgun, and that's a .241. So basically the size of pellets in my foot were 2.5 sizes different than the size of pellets removed from my foot. The size pellets from my gun were different from what was removed from my foot, proving I was not shot with my gun, and those police lied, and I know that. It took 6 years to get them identified and a $2,000 reward. I mean, that's how dirty it is here. And also showing you recent pictures after I shot, that the shot didn't come up from the ground through my foot. The shooter was below ground. The gun was level with the ground because the entrance and exit wounds were 2 inches above ground level. So keep that in mind. They were standing under my home when they shot me, waiting to kill me. And I'm sure cashed the insurance checks and all that. Here's what I believe I was shot with. I believe I was shot with a handgun, 45 handgun to be specific, because because I think it was Lisa Rogers told me on Facebook I was shot with a 45. I have a print screen showing that. Well, this bullet is a plastic tipped pellet filled bullet that will shoot in a 45, and it is almost the same size pellet that's removed shown on the lab report. So I believe that they bought a special ammunition to murder me in my home and shoot me with the 45 handgun. I wondered how many police carry a 45 handgun. Okay, here's another proof showing that I wasn't shot with my gun. We already have proof, right? I already showed you that, the ballistic evidence. But here the CSI in Midland, Texas, Marty Barrett or Tony Barrett, okay, he comes to my house and he said he picked up my gun from my house, my shotgun, okay, in this report. And then he's the guy that checked in the evidence. He's the guy that checked in 4 live shells from my gun. He's the one that checked in my gun, okay, but he didn't check in an empty shell. And anybody who knows anything about guns knows that that empty shell would have been in that gun if I had been shot with my gun, and that's not what happened. Somebody tried to murder me in my home, and that's a fact. And then we also have people saying there's tunnels and underground homes here, okay? Here's a guy that used to live in my house, Ricky Ronaldo. The police could talk to him. He said, when I was a kid, there were tunnels under the house. Me and my brother would always go down there. He said he lived in my home. And so here you can see where one tunnel was cut coming from the back of Home Depot to my house. In the backyard was one of the underground homes where they had the oil show parties where they murdered the young girl in 2010, October 2010, at a party that had police there. That is what's going on in Midland, Texas, that the crime victims who report felonies, who report home invasions, burglaries, they're murdered. This is Buddy Webb, Midland, Texas.